Good evening, good morning, and good night. Welcome to Inappropriate Radio. It's your host. Let's get into this. So, hi guys. I hope all is well. First of all, no periodic table, no alien talk. We're gonna be getting back to that soon. But I was instructed to ask this question, okay? It's not an old download, it's a new download that I literally just got not too long ago. And the creator wanted me to ask, how prepared are you? If you had to scale your preparedness, right? If you had to look up and put a number from 1 to 10 on how prepared you are for this new phase, right? Whether you are going into it, you're at the precipice of it, it's like on the way, but you're not quite there, like whatever the scenario may be, right? If you had to scale it from 1 to 10, how prepared are you for this new phase, right? Initially, I'm like, okay, God, am I asking myself that? And he's like, yeah, ask yourself that too, but it's also for the podcast, okay? So there are people who, they're ready, right? They're ready to go. It doesn't matter when it comes, they're going to be ready, right? You stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And then there are people who still have some things that they need to be shedding. Remember, we talked about, this was just yesterday, right? Us needing to step into the energy of being prepared for certain things. Each level has a different set of people. It has a different set of our own versions of ourselves, right? We can sit here and discuss all day long how prepared or ill-prepared we may be for something, right? But if we are not willing to look at all of what is required to be prepared, then we're still going to look over some things. If you're just going based off of your own understanding, your own ideation, you will get lost. So it's important to kind of focus on people who have walked the very narrow path of higher thinking, higher levels of spirituality, a greater understanding of self that is related to or connected to something outside of self, right? So there are tons of people who have experienced spiritual warfare on levels that you may not even be able to believe or fathom, okay? A lot of people have this really strong relationship with the Creator. They have a really strong relationship with the universe, with the earth, okay? Those are all three different entities and energies that people are tapped into. Some people are only tapped into one. Some people are tapped into all three. Some people are tapped into two. So it depends, right? But if you know you have a special relationship with God, if you know that you are destined to do something for God, it doesn't matter what it is, okay? Some people have to do dark work for God. Some people, they are walking karma, right? And God has selected them to remove certain frequencies from this timeline, from this dimension. So it's not always good and bright and high and, high vibration and happy time. Okay, I just want to make sure we have that understood. Sometimes there's going to be assignments that you have to do that you're not going to like. And there's going to be people that are going to hate you for accepting the assignment. It's even going to look like you're doing the devil's work. But people who know, they know, right? It's not an easy task to stay in alignment with God, whether you like the work you're doing or not, whether it's something that's viewed as a good thing or not. Okay? Everyone has their own relationship with God. I keep saying that, and I can't stress it enough how important it is to understand your own relationship. But when it comes to a model, the most popular person would be who? Jesus, right? We know that Jesus was like the person that you would want to be most like. He was considered to be one of the most perfect men to ever grace the face of earth, right? And it's nothing wrong with not liking that, right? It's nothing wrong with not wanting to pray to Jesus, right? If you don't want to pray to Jesus, don't pray to Jesus, right? It's an understanding that not everyone is tapped into. Some people, they don't feel the need to, reach out and be like Jesus. So there are other models. I'm not going to give you any, because I'm not trying to point you to any different directions. If I give you a name, then I'm going to have to more than likely give you a philosophy or a religion. Okay. And I'm not really trying to do either. Okay. So it is, however, important for you to understand that your spirituality is connected to a mindset. Okay. Your spirituality is connected to a version of yourself that you have yet to tap into. So the sooner you get that part, the sooner you'll be good to go. So once again, if I had to ask you, how prepared, let's just say God wanted you to be a doctor, right? And you are getting ready to step into medical school. How prepared are you to start that process? And I'm just using this as an example, I'm just using this one thing as an example. There's tons of things that we can make up and use. There's tons of things that we can use as a conversation piece, right? There's tons of things that we can sort of go off of in order to gain a better understanding, right? But then when you start to pay attention to the other things, right? Like how religion may separate people, or how certain people are these figments of our imaginations, how people make up characters in order for us to fall in line and believe whatever it is that they're telling us. It's so many things to go off of here. And I'm not the type of person to push my own understanding on people. Every time I come up here, it's a pure download. Unless God is instructing me and leading me to have a conversation that is not about the download, then I'll do it. But for the most part, everything that I discuss on this podcast is a download that is highly connected to spirituality, and it usually doesn't have much to do with religion. Even when we did the segment about religion, we still threw spirituality in there, because religion is steeped in spirituality. You can't have one without the other. You don't get one without the other. Seriously, you don't. So in order for us to have that full on understanding of what God may be wanting us to do, you can look at history, right? Because some people don't have the ability to discern God's voice. Some people don't have a good relationship with God. Some people don't come from a bloodline where they can even build a certain relationship with God, right? I'm not saying that you can't do it if you come from a certain bloodline, but just some bloodlines just have this particular thing, and it's usually for a spiritual reason, not a religious reason, okay? So if you are going to be taking anything from this podcast, if you are going to be putting yourself in the position to understand spirituality, look at how ready you are, okay? Because and the point that I was trying to make was based off of kind of like a piggyback from yesterday, okay? How prepared are you? Because remember, these new levels, these blessings, these new energies, they're attached to people. We don't just go into new seasons by ourselves. I have to make sure that I state that and that I make it a point to be understood. A lot of us think that we're going to stay in isolation, and you're not. So let's just say you meet your sponsor. Let's say God has appointed you a sponsor, someone who is going to pick up your balance from school or keep you focused and keep you from falling off track and being in the wrong environments. He's going to keep you sharp and challenge you with studying the things that you guys have been going over. Like, there's tons of ways to swing it and wing it, right? But the gist here is to really think about how important it is to be prepared, because you can't go into a new season with the same energy, with the same attitude, with the same perception, with the same mindset. Everything about your personality needs to have done shifted by now. You cannot afford to stay in the same frequency that is attached to the old version of yourself. And I mean, we've gone over this in so many ways, but I mean, let's be a little bit more deliberate with the conversation. Let's be a little bit more concise and to the point about this, right? You have to understand that you are layered, and your levels of life, your levels of understanding, the things that allow you to tap into God, the things that have nothing to do with where you're going. Like, all of these things are complex and they're opposite of one another, but they're all connected to a frequency. Okay? Your ability to tap into God and your ability to stay away from the things that no longer serve you are higher vibrations, right? But you saying, oh, I always wanted to be a gangbanger and a drug dealer. This could be an aspect of your new self, but how high of a vibration is it? Again, God sometimes sends us down the darkest road alone, but when we come back, it's not to be alone. And sometimes you're gonna be by yourself, but God don't send nobody on a mission alone. I'm just telling you. So you need to ask yourself how prepared you are to deal with new people. And this was something that I had to also ask myself. I had to make sure that everything that I was doing was leading me to where God was taking me, and that I was also mature enough, right, to be in this space, and that I was also going to have to humble myself, right? Because here I am, like, oh yeah, I'm a psychic, I'm a prophetess, and God loves me and he blessed me, and I don't even think I would even want to fuck with you like that, because I don't know you, and you have to be able to identify the people that God is blessing you with. You have to be able to identify when it's time to let go and when it's time to latch on. You have to be willing to humble yourself enough to understand that you are not in control, not anywhere near what you think, and God is. And you have to be willing to submit to the divine order of things. Okay? But I'm gonna end it here. I do love y'all. I hope y'all enjoy y'all weekend, child, because this was a rough little week. But I hope y'all drink your water, eat your fruit and vegetables, and sip on your own tea, because it is free. All right, love y'all.